Hey guys, good morning. I don't know how well this is picking up, and if you've ever met me or talked with me just for a little bit, you know I don't even need this. So I just want to welcome you all. Can you even believe it? I know, right? This is your last first day of school for just a little bit though, as a student for right now. So for those of you who I haven't really met personally, I'm pretty sure I've met everybody, but my name's Amanda Priest. I am the one who sends you 32 emails a day, basically, and now on Ramon 101 text too, so we're just going to stay in communication all the time. My job is the assistant director of Scopes, and so basically what I handle, what my role is I handle all of this. I handle all of your clinical placements. I handle everything about student teaching and all of your seminars and putting everything together. So today is going to be a really busy day. It's a little jam-packed. A few years back, they used to split this into 2 days. You don't want that, trust me. So we try to get it all in one day, and then if we have questions along the way, then we just roll with it. So, sound good? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. And basically, right now, I would usually have the dean of the college would come over and do a wonderful welcome on, you know, what fantastic educators you all are going to be and things like that. And everybody was all booked up. So guess who you got? You got me. So I'm going to just do a real quick little welcome with you guys. First, I want to tell you a little bit about me and why I am qualified to even be standing up here. In 2004, I graduated with a degree in elementary ed and a specialization. You had to have a specialization back then in pre-K and K. And so I started teaching. I taught kindergarten in a trailer my very first year with 10 students, and it was the best year of my life. It was great. And it was a very rural school, and I just loved it. I didn't have an intercom. I didn't have anything. I had a walkie-talkie, and they would forget to turn it on up in the office most of the time. So if I did have a question, I'll be talking. It wouldn't even be on anyway. So, and that was back in the day where you had to bid on jobs, and your seniority is what got you hired. And so obviously I had no seniority, so I took that job. And then the next year, my former high school principal called me, and the high school is about 5 minutes from my house, and he said, hey, we've got this math job, and I remember you're a really good math student. You want this job? I was like, sure. So I taught 10th and 11th grade math for a whole year, and I studied every evening, and it was a great experience too. And that year, I actually got pregnant with my second daughter, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about that in a while. And my older was in kindergarten, and I thought, oh, this is good. I'm 5 minutes from my house, and yeah, this and that. But what that year taught me was that I did not want to teach high school. I was not going to teach high school math. They had offered me the job, and I thought, no, I really don't think this is what I want to do. So the next year rolls about, and I have a baby at the very beginning of June, and I go to job interviews, and I'm trying to, you know, get my foot in the door and get that seniority and get that first hire. And the personnel director was like, bid on everything, bid on everything. And so I bid on everything, and I got a job teaching PE, traveling elementary PE. And all of my schools were an hour from my house. And I cried for 2 straight months, every single day of school. Cry. And then I would leave and get in the car, and I'd cry, and come home. And finally, one day I was just like, you know what, I can either cry for the next 9 months until this is over, or I can take this and make it great and make it a learning experience and make it what it is. And that's what I did. And I formed relationships that have helped me so much in the future. Just yesterday, I was at a celebration party for somebody, and one of my principals from that year, forever ago, from 2006, was like, oh my gosh, I can be, you know, and so anyway, it helped form who I am. So long story short, here I am. I have a master's degree in educational administration leadership studies, and I thought I wanted to be a principal, but you're going to find out through the semester I'm married to a principal, and so I don't want to be a principal. and definitely we couldn't have two of those in my house. So here I am. When this job presented itself, I thought, you know what, this is a great opportunity for me because I loved having students in my classroom for Marshall. I hosted student teachers, I hosted clinical students, and I was the liaison for the school. And so I was trying to get you guys out into my school where I was, because it's a great school. It's Wayne Elementary School. And that just happens to be where my husband's the principal. That's what makes it great too. But it was a great school, and I just kept, wanting this relationship and working with this relationship. And so when this presented itself, it was just a perfect opportunity for me. So that's why I'm standing here. I just wanted to give you guys a little life advice, very briefly. And when I put this together, I just want to share this. I put this together on Tuesday or Wednesday of last week. Michelle Obama's speech did not come out until Thursday or Friday, so I did not copy First Lady Obama. Maybe she copied me. Maybe she heard I was going to do this. And so anyway, I was just thinking about, advice that I could give you, just human advice, not even really teacher advice, but teacher advice too. But I thought, you need to be this, you need to be this. And I thought, oh, what to be? That's what we can do. So I've got this little hokey PowerPoint. Don't kill me over it. But the first thing that I would tell you to be in life and be as a teacher is to be excited. And so I used to show this to my students every year on the first day of school.
Wake up! Come on, first day of school. You want to go to school. 1 more minute. You, Dad, me. Get up. Time for school.
Okay, so and you can ask my family. That's really how I do wake up in the morning, which is pretty hilarious. I mean, I'm like, the alarm goes off, I'm up. Let's go. Let's get this over with. Let's do this. A funny story about this video. One of the last years I was teaching, I taught first grade, and I'm up front, and I'm Miss Priest, and I'm the actress, and I've got my first day school outfit on, and I'm so excited. My room looks perfect, and I'm telling you, oh my goodness, guys, I'm so glad to be your teacher this year. And I'm showing this video, and I hear blood-curdling screams from the hallway, and I'm thinking, don't let it be mine. Don't let it be mine. Don't let them be coming in here. And guess what? 2 teachers, one in the front, one in the back, carried in a student laying long ways. One had the feet, one had the head. And he was screaming, I hate this, no. And I'm like, oh my God. And so I'm like, guys, it's the first day of school, how exciting. And this is just playing in the background. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what is that? And so we wedge him into a desk, and he sits there and screams how much he hates me for about 30 more seconds. And it ended up being, he was one of my favorite students ever. And so that just goes to show you, little things will stick with you that forever. If that movie is on, I'm like, oh my God, yeah. Do you remember that day, Bill, with the kid down the hallway? So be excited. This next slide's pretty funny. Okay, be willing to take risks. That's me, that's my family. That's my husband and that real little, 2 little purple outfit that we got on the day. And we're tubing on Gatesville. And I'll just say this, I hate anything that I think could hurt my people that I love. So it makes me nervous. And so if you can see, I'm like holding on for dear life. And my kids are all like with their hands up, whipping, and he's up on his knees, carrying on with this teeny tiny purple life vest on. And so if I could tell you anything, be willing to take risks. Be willing to take risks in the classroom. Be willing to take risks in your life. Taking this job for me was a huge risk. I was super safe. I had all my seniority. I gave up like 120 sick days. I had all these things built up in this really safe job that I was good at. And then this kind of happened. And when I took this job, there was nobody here to teach me what to do. Debbie can tell you. I mean, I was the person who had this job had already left. And so I just sort of had to wing it for about a semester. And then I started figuring out, oh, this is the best way to go. So be optimistic. If you'll look at that, it says, I'm an optimist. It does not seem to be much use. It does not seem to be much use being anything else. Nobody likes a pessimistic person. Nobody wants to surround themselves with it. And in life and in schools, stay away from the pessimistic people. Every school has what I call a cancer. And you know how cancer happens. it grows and it gets bigger and it gets bigger and it gets bigger unless you contain it and take care of it. And so if you are hanging around that negative person at school, you're hearing a lot of negative talk, okay? And then that's just going to grow and that's going to influence you, and you don't want any of that. I can assure you of that. Next thing is to be part of a team. And this is pretty cute. Just humor me with my videos today. Okay, so be part of a team, and I don't mean this just in your school, but in life. When I left my school, I taught first grade, like I said, and I was part of a team. I was part of a great team. There were 4 of us. We bounced ideas off of each other all the time. I was probably the youngest teacher of them all, and at that time, I probably had 9 or 10 years experience. I was teaching with somebody who had 30 years experience. And sometimes when you have that person, you're like, they've been doing the same thing for 30 years. She didn't. She was super fresh, always on top of things. And so we love to work together. But when I say be part of a team, don't be afraid to be who you are, and we're going to talk about that in a minute too. And in life, you have to have a team. You know, I have my family, which I adore, but I also have my other teams in life. I have my best friends. I have a lifelong, I have a best friend who I've been best friends with since we were 6 years old. 30, I'm not even going to tell you. 31 years, almost 32 years. And she's my best friend. I could text her 3 o'clock in the morning and just say, hey, isn't this hilarious? You know, or something like that, and it would be okay. Because she's my best friend. I have friends that I've had since high school. And you know, your teams change as you move through life, and you'll find that. My husband has his best friends. The people in our wedding were his friends in elementary school. That's the kind of team he has and that he's built. A lot of my team are people who I went to college with and who I taught with and who I've been a mom with. Those are my teammates. And now that I'm at Marshall, I have different teams. Like Dr. Lockwood and I are on the same team. Jennifer Jackson and I, we're on that same team. You know, so you build relationships wherever you are. So always remember that. These are my teams. And I'll tell you more about that picture in just a second. The one on the left is when I ran the Marshall Marathon a couple years ago. Obviously didn't run it this year. You can look at that too. But the year before I ran it. And it was a big deal for me because I was out of shape and forever, and then I just started working out and I set this goal and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this. And you know, I left that morning early, like at 5:45 by myself with some of my running friends, my team, and so I'm running and I'm going around River Park and I see that, and there's my kids with these homemade signs and my husband and everybody cheering me on, and I thought, you know what, that just gave me that little oomph. But that's your team. You know, those are your people. This picture right here, I just threw that in because I think it's kind of cute. But that's my husband in the middle. And these are all ladies that work at a school. And we're at the reading conference at the Greenbrier, and we were trying to take a picture, and they're like, if you can see, they're like kissing him and, you know, loving him and whatever. But those are his people. That is his team at work that he trusts. And, you know, you surround yourself with people that make you look good. Just always know that. And so, like I said, when you have the pessimistic people and you have people like that, that doesn't make you look good out in your career or in life. So always surround yourself with people who really love you and support you. And actually, this lady right here was his 5th grade teacher. And now she works for him. So it's pretty cool. They have a really great relationship. Be passionate. Be passionate about your work, but also be passionate in life in general. And this is just a little clip of Steve Jobs. And I just want you to listen to what he says about having passion at work.
People say you have to have a lot of passion for what you're doing, and it's totally true. And the reason is because it's so hard that if you don't, any rational person would give up. It's really hard. And you have to do it over a sustained period of time. So if you don't love it, if you're not having fun doing it and you don't really love it, you're going to give up. And that's what happens to most people, actually. If you really look at the ones that ended up being successful, unquote, in the eyes of society and the ones that didn't, oftentimes it's the ones that are successful loved what they did so they could persevere when it got really tough. And the ones that didn't love it quit because they're sane.
So I'll stop there. If you've ever talked to me about teaching before, and I'm sure I said this at your all's level 2 orientation, if you don't love it, don't do it. Okay? Because when you walk in the door in the morning, if you don't love it, everybody knows. Everybody can look at you. Kids can smell that on you. They know that you really don't want to be there. So whatever you're doing in life, don't do things you don't love. I mean, seriously, if you are, if you're going to let's say you're going to a yoga class and you hate it and it makes you miserable every time you go, why do you still go? Don't go. Find something else to do. Okay? So be passionate about whatever you're doing. Be different. And I'll add this when I was talking about working with a team. I worked with a great team, but we were secure enough that we didn't do everything the same. I worked with this one teacher who everything was this huge production. I mean, you have no idea. And the very first week I was working there, the moms, the volunteers who would copy and do things came in and they handed all me all these copies, all these worksheets. I was like, what's that? They're like, oh, these are your copies for the week. I was like, I didn't ask for that. Oh, well, everybody in first grade uses these. Guess what? Not everybody in first grade used those because I never used them. I went to them right then and I said, don't make copies for me. I'll let you know if I need something copied. Okay? So don't be afraid to be different. That's always best, actually. Be fun. You're going to hear me talk throughout the semester about my kids. That's my littlest. And she is just, you love your kids and you love your kids the same amount, but you love them in different ways. And right now my oldest is 16, and so we are really struggling with that love sometimes. But this one right here, she's 10 now. She was probably 8 when that picture was taken. And that's at camp, and they had a shaving cream fight. And I mean, that is just the epitome of who she is. She is just the funnest kid all the time. Just dancing, singing, she always wants people to feel good around her, and I don't even know how to describe her. But she's fun. She is having a good, and like I said, to do something you don't like to do, she's never gonna do that. We've played basketball, softball, soccer, guitar, dance. We've done everything. And she'll do it for a little while. But if she's not crazy about it, if she's not passionate about it, she doesn't really want to do it. And I don't force it, So be fun. Remember that little picture right there if you need help reminding to be fun. And be loved. And that goes back to your team. The picture on the left is how I like to picture them all the time. My littlest was probably 5 days old, and they're so beautiful sitting there. But basically, that happens about once every 6 weeks, that they even acknowledge each other and like each other. The picture on the right is my family, and that is at the camp that my church puts on every year. And actually, my husband, who's a little bit older than me, was my very first tribe leader there. But we didn't even know each other. And then now our church is back there, and I'm there, and our kids are there. And so it's kind of like a full circle thing. But that is one of those moments where I was just like, I love my people. So let's take a picture. But just be loved. Always just sort of know that there's somebody out there that's got your back. And while it sounds really hokey and cheesy, I do feel genuine love for you guys, because I want to see you succeed, and I want to see everyone here be successful. And so if you ever feel like there's nobody in the world that is going to stand up for you or take care of you or be there for you, I'm going to be that person, because I'm like your school mom now. You know how you always had a school mom at school? I'm your school mom now. So, and I'm just going to end with this. Meryl Streep said something last night. Can you tell I love Entertainment Weekly and I love all that stuff? I love current events. But she gave this really great speech last night, and I'm not up here being political or anything like that, but if you go back and listen to it, she made the statement, and I'm just paraphrasing, that people in power can make things happen. They can either make the people who they are with act one way or act another. And like I said, if you walk into school and you're miserable and you're sad, the kids know. And you put out this vibe. And so always put out a great vibe for your people, okay? Always know that. So, all right, I'm done taking up your time. Thank you. But I have two really cool ladies I'm going to introduce y'all to, and they are going to talk to you about some awesome, this stuff, listen, as a teacher, I wish I'd known this because I would have been using it in my classroom all the time. These two ladies are with PBS. This is Margaret Miller and Debbie Alexa. So if you guys would just come up here and join us. And I would be...
I don't know. I'm thinking it over. Yeah, sure.
Which one do you want me to pull up for you?
What's going on here?
What's going on here? How's that?
Your
welcome.
first day. Can you make you wear the jumper?
I did not wear the jumper. Okay, she just said on the first day of school, did I wear the jumper? I will share this story. One of my best friends who I've taught with, her mom bought her a jumper at Cracker Barrel. I'm not even kidding. When we were first teaching. And so she wore it the very first year we taught. And I was like, Jenny, no, take that off. And so then every year after that, we passed it back and forth. Like it would be a wrapped up present and you would forget. And so like one of my kids would come in and say, hey, Miss Priest, Miss McMillan told me to give you this. I'm like, did she give you a present? And then I'd open up, it was the jean jumper with the teacher buttons. So anyway, yeah, just like I said, have fun.
If the girls wear the jumpers, what do the men wear?
I know. They have to wear the apple tie, the teacher tie, with the pencils on it. Yeah. The teacher tie. Yeah.
Okay, well, I taught, I'm Margaret from this West Virginia Public Broadcasting Duo, and this is Debbie. And I am a Marshall graduate, and I remember my student teaching guide. It was in 1970, and you only got to student teach in Cabell County if you lived in Cabell County. I grew up in Webster County, so I got to go to Charleston, find a whole new place to live, find new teammates, friends, and things, and student teaching in Spring Hill Junior High, which is no longer there in South Charleston. But I taught middle and high school and a little bit of elementary for 28 years, and for about the last 3.5, I've been fortunate enough to be a curriculum specialist at West Virginia Public Broadcasting. And as Amanda said, I wish I'd known about this stuff when I was teaching. I had not even heard of these things until I met Debbie.
But we have a funny story about us.
Right, but this would have been so useful to me. So take a look right here just for a minute at what's on the screen. And you've probably heard think, pair, share in some of your education classes. I want you to think about what you see here and then talk to somebody near you about what on there interests me for my teaching career. What might I want to explore more. So think about it and then turn to somebody beside you and start talking about it. Share your ideas. From this point in my observations, with some of you got right on board, some of you didn't want to talk to anybody, some of you were, oh, I know what that is, and some of you had these looks on your faces like, what on earth is going on here? That kind of thing. And all those are what you're going to need in your classes, you know that. So a think, pair, share is just a strategy you can try, and it's a classroom assessment. Well, first of all, who will follow directions? Who's willing to talk to somebody else, and who's my shy kid? Right from the start. So I'm not naming any of you, and I'm not going to call on any of you personally, but just a little class starter there. And my question right there, what's going on here, is the major question for you to ask when you're doing lesson planning or when you're ready to start a conversation with your students. And it sounds like something simple because we all say what's going on here. But when you think about it, it can lead to really good discussions. So somebody just real quickly tell me, what interested you?
I heard one right here I loved.
Super wide
I'm
or
sorry, I
Shakespeare
called her.
uncovered?
Interesting combination. Shakespeare and covered in super wide. Preschool and high school maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? If we had a long time, you would be explaining that, just so you know. Anybody else find anything interesting? Anything you've never heard of before?
Salsa.
Salsa? Salsa. Salsa is a foreign language program. Okay. Super Y is little kids reading. Shakespeare Uncovered is not really Shakespeare stripped down or anything. It's just background on Shakespeare. Anybody else see anything that you've not heard of before? Well, there are so many things up here that we can offer resources to you. We can offer some training for you and just support to help you use West Virginia Public Broadcasting and PBS in your classroom. So kind of keep this visual in mind that there's a lot of stuff going on at West Virginia Public Broadcasting, and maybe some of it will work for me. And I'm really glad you said that. I didn't even have to pay you to say that.
And I called on her and you said you weren't going to call on me.
We sort of planned this thing. I taught middle and high school, but I would have to tell you that some of my best activities were stolen from elementary teachers. So you didn't have steal in your PowerPoint.
I did.
No.
But it should have been there. I want to steal ideas, okay? I try to give the teachers credit for them if I remember. But take something that you learn from anybody and make it your own. Right? So don't be afraid. You see a lot of elementary stuff on here. And when you think of PBS, you either think of like Masterpiece or one of these things, or you think of the little kids programs. But don't be afraid to learn from each direction on here. And if you're in the middle, you can learn from everybody. How many of you are going to be in middle school? Yay! Taught there 26 years, that's why I'm crazy. But it's a good place to be. So, you can learn from all of these programs. So we're going to show you where to find resources for all of those. Just one quick thing, and then Debbie, I think it's your turn. No, it's not. You have...
Then I'm going back
I
there and
have
get
my
some.
notes. Can you tell how organized I am? I have my notes. PBS educational programs are all built around the learning triangle. And it's simple and profound at the same time, just like that question. In the learning triangle, you're going to possibly use a piece of media. Here's my media. You're going to have students explore some text, and then you're going to have an activity. And you can do those in different orders. Maybe you're going to start out with an activity. But this is kind of designed to keep in your mind that you don't just show a video to show a video. It's got to have a purpose. And you don't just have them read something. But if you put the three things together, the view, read, and do, you've got a really powerful lesson. And this is a kind of a guiding sheet to help you figure out what you're going to use. So you might want to hang on to this. I don't know. Do they have a specific lesson plan they have to use?
Yes, they do.
But this
Like
might
a format.
a format.
Yes.
So this could be a on the side of your desk
Sure.
thing here.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me do. Where's the other PowerPoint?
Oh, I can hit up.
You find it?
Okay. No.
Okay, I got it.
Don't be afraid to help. Ask for help for technology. Did all the schools have a
Exactly.
TIS?
They usually do.
Okay. Technology integration specialist.
There we go. Are we good? Do you want me to do it like as run it so you
Yeah,
can just
hit
click?
slideshow.
Yeah, is that good?
Thank you.
No problem. Oh, we don't need that. There we go.
Okay,
How's
thank
that?
All right. So Debbie, we just hit enter.
Okay.
So we are West Virginia Public Broadcasting. That's where Debbie works in the Morgantown office. I work in the Charleston office. And that's our contact information, which is also on your bookmark. The area in which I specialize is West Virginia Learning Media. And West Virginia Learning Media is a source of about 130,000 different resources, pre-K through 13 plus. So if you are early childhood majors, you're going to find great resources, especially from the PBS Kids programs on there. Video clips, activities with it. If you are in any of the content areas in elementary, middle, or high school, plus there are resources on there for professional development. So if you look up Center for Professional Development, you're going to find how you can take a YouTube video with all that garbage around the outside and maybe the nasty comments on the bottom. You can get rid of all of those and save a YouTube video that you want to use that is a clean copy. So look on Center for Professional Development for that. We're going to have more training on learning media in the future. Is that right, Amanda?
Yes, we are.
So I'm not going to go into details on that, but I do have an assignment for you. Aha, yeah, this is your first homework, sort of. On your bookmark, in the center, it says Register for West Virginia Learning Media. And you're going to use the top website, www.pbslearningmedia.org, to register. When you register, I don't care where you live, you've got to put a West Virginia zip code. So that will take you to our site. And I say that if you end up teaching in Kentucky or Ohio, they may have a link to learning media. But ours is really friendly, and ours is what I do. So I want you to do a West Virginia zip code. And on the page where you create your profile, you need to put that you're a K-12 post-secondary educator. Now, no matter what you're going to do, enter that information because that gives you the broadest access to all of the resources in there. And as Amanda pointed out, when she started teaching, you did the high school math and then you went to elementary phys ed.
And I taught kindergarten the year before, so it's all
Kindergarten.
different.
To get your foot in the door, you just never know where you're going to be or what you're going to be teaching. I got my foot in the door. I was a social studies education major. There were 1 million of those when I graduated. So I was doing EKGs at Charleston Memorial Hospital to pay my rent. Did an EKG on this man, and he's, you're trying to make the person relax and comfortable. And he said, where did you grab us in Webster County? Well, he's from Nicholas County, next door. So we start talking, and some way it came around that, yeah, I had an education degree, but I didn't have a job. And he said, well, I'm on the State Board of Education. I'll see what I can do about that. So I got a call for an interview. I had to do an EKG to get an interview. And it was at an inner city school in Charleston where they were just starting to bus students in from a housing project, and nobody wanted to teach there, but I took the job. And I loved it because the teachers who stayed there wanted to be there. And we still have our Lincoln Junior High School reunions every year. And the school's been closed for 15 or so years. So you just don't know what's going to get you in the door and where you're going to be. But jump at your chance. So, all right, that's my true story. All right. Although, from teaching middle school, I have 1 million of them. So before we meet again, when I do your training on West Virginia Learning Media, I want you to be registered. If you have any trouble, email me, and I'll try to walk you through it, because sometimes it can be a little cranky, as you know, all right? All right. So, I'm like, okay,
Yes, kids, that's not
Okay.
in the order of, but anyway.
Okay.
Well, I'm Debbie, and I am a 28-year veteran of West Virginia Public Broadcasting. My background was business. I applied for a shipping receiving job, and I moved up through the company all the way. I was in programming for 12 years, and I've been doing PBS Kids for the last 16. Have you, anybody heard of Ready to Learn?
I know, it's amazing.
You have. You know super why.
Okay.
I also have a 7-year-old son.
Oh, well, there you go, perfect
There you
age.
go. Well, Ready to Learn began in 1995 with a grant through the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and Public Broadcasting, which it kind of, I guess, put a new a person in the office of the local stations as a Ready to Learn coordinator. And what the coordinators do is we are outreach for PBS Kids. And since 1996, when we joined in, it has changed, but it hasn't. It's the same information is there, but they've gone wider. They've moved to, there are apps. There's on the pbskids.org site. When you go on it, it's a big wheel, and it has all of our programs. You click on one of the programs, and it goes to games and resources and music, the apps, of course, and then off the spin-off of all that, it goes off to PBS Parents, where it's all for the parents to get also resources and, child development through PBS. One thing I have to say about PBS is their research, and it's amazing, because we'll talk a little bit later about camps that we do, but their research, and I just can't say enough about it. But even though Ready to Learn is the same, it's evolving around multimedia now. So
You want me to show the link?
Sure. Yes. Which one do you want to show?
PBS Kids or Lab? Which one you want?
PBS Kids.
Okay.
Is that the one we were going?
Cannot open the specified files.
I don't know.
Okay.
Right click it, see if you can right click it.
Right click.
Right click and see if it,
It may not.
I don't know, that's a long shot, but.
Okay, let me try PBS. I did control right click and it's not doing anything either.
Did you cut and paste it in the?
Wait, let me just open it. How about that? We could just do that. We just pull it up.
You want, is that okay, Debbie?
Fine.
She's the elementary person, it's not me.
There's so much in PBS Kids. It's hard for me to tell you all about it. It's something you need to explore. It's endless.
See if it'll work this way.
And one thing I found on it is that it doesn't have, maybe I'm wrong, a whole 30-minute program, but it's pulled out a clip from the program teaching a specific skill, and there's probably a game or an activity or interactive to go with that particular skill.
On PBS Kids.
Kids.
But the actual programs, like I want to say the normal programs like Super Y, Clifford, they're done in 15-minute segments, so it's not a total 30-minute show.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
We're good.
And it's like searching, so it may not even let you do your flat show anymore. I'm trying to get it to come back out.
Okay.
It's just being very, there, okay, never mind. Okay, so, are we good there? This is good. Do you want me to go back?
Go back, yes.
Let me try to escape. Oh, my goodness.
And
Oh,
technology,
it just keeps
that was
going
one of the
forward.
first things that we were told at PBS when we got our training was, your technology is always not going to work.
Perfect. Here, how's that? There we go. If it will, it's just not being very cooperative today.
Grumpy today.
You want to just click on the sides there. That might
Okay.
be better. I'm sorry about that.
Okay, anything else, Debbie, on this one? You have questions?
Yeah. Are you all PBS kids? Sort of.
I like PBS, but I'm from Pennsylvania. I think it's a little different.
Oh, they're WQED in Pennsylvania? We're friends, it's okay. Yes. But it's not just watching a program now. When we go do a Ready to Learn workshop, one of the first things we say is, turn your TV off, which is crazy. The rules and regulations of the ages of what they can watch, how much television, and Head Start is
Maybe, I think it's up to an hour now, but
Okay.
not all at one sitting.
right. Not
Yeah.
one sitting. But the PBS Kids also recommends that you do co-viewing, view the program with your child. And it comes to the learning triangle, the view, read, and do. Don't use it as a babysitter. But in workshops, we say, turn your TV off because there's so much more, because you can still see it. But you can watch it too.
All right, I think you're the next one. Okay, this is That's a use your imagination slide.
Yes, it is. When Martha and I met, she was hired in Charleston. I've been in Morgantown since Woodward. And she thought I was out to take her job. She didn't know about me. And I thought she was taking my job. I didn't know about her. And then we had an all-staff meeting and we're like, well, who are you? They never told us.
And I hate it when it's not your stuff. Oh my gosh.
If
Okay.
the computer doesn't.
Shall we start all over?
We may just have to start all over, so. Y'all just keep talking and I'll just mess with this.
Technology is still not-
Y'all, come on, Sesame Street, anybody,
Internet
Sesame Street.
connection.
Sesame Street.
All right. And you want me to introduce my little game while we're waiting?
Yeah, you want to pass it out and I'll talk a little bit while you're passing it out?
Well, I just brought one up.
Start the task manager and see if the program's responding.
Okay, thank you. It's all running. We're all running there.
All right, click on the bottom where you have the flash notification.
Hang on. Shield.
Yeah.
Right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Oh,
Close that out.
we don't want that. We don't want that. Can I maybe, it's not.
Try alt tabbing a few times.
Alt tab?
Yeah.
Well,
Hold down alt and press tab until you get your presentation.
what would I do without y'all? See, I learned something every day from y'all. Okay.
Okay, now I'm almost afraid to touch it.
I know, right? Let's see if it's gonna. Okay, it seems to be working.
Okay, all right, Debbie.
Okay, there we
Is it,
go.
are we on Martha?
We're on
The
Martha.
next one?
Yeah.
Well, has
Levi.
anybody heard of Martha
Thank you, sir.
Speaks?
Appreciate that.
Of the 7-year-old?
Do you a favor, always.
Well,
consider.
Martha is, yes, she's a talking dog. I wish we could see clips. They're so cute.
I'm not
She
cute.
did. I'm not cute.
I'm afraid.
Martha is, she eats alphabet soup every day, and then she can speak. Her program is all about learning new words, big words. Martha always has a big word. But if she doesn't have her alphabet soup, she doesn't, alphabet, I sometimes call it vegetable soup. When she doesn't have her alphabet soup, she can't talk. But with Martha Speaks, there are 2 programs off of her program, which is a Reading Buddies program where the older children read to the younger children. It's a 10-week program, and again, I wish I had pictures to show you, but I did it wrong the first time I did it many years ago. I had 110 kids in their media center, and I didn't know what I was going to do because I worked with the school, and they put them all together. So there's about a 7-8 minute clip about Martha, and then don't look at that. And then they read a book related to the clip. We did 4th and 5th read to K and 1. And as soon as they started reading, the entire room, I mean, how many are in here? There was 110 little kids. It just got perfectly quiet. All you heard was the reading. And then after they did their read, they had a journal that the little one spoke to the older child to write down their journal, what they got from the program. But that's a 10-week program, and you can also do it in a library setting, but we're in a school setting. But if we did it on a Friday afternoon, it's about 45 minutes, and it was just, they said it was something fun for them to leave school on Friday with, to think about Martha and her Reading Buddies program.
We'll see what comes up next.
I don't know.
All right. Okay,
That is you.
it's your turn. All right. Designs coordination is something we're really promoting. Right now, only two middle school teachers in West Virginia that we know of are going to try this program. I think it works really well and it has to be from middle school. What ages does it say? 10 to 13-year-olds, so maybe 5th through 8th grade. But it works really well for science teachers and especially 7th grade social studies teachers. Because your students, and it's an after school, or it could be an advisory if there's a period during the day when it's like, what are we going to do here? You know, the students form a club, and it's through PBS, through WGBH in Boston. But they're given problems to solve, real world problems to solve, and they just use like straws and all that kind of supplies. It's not a major go out and buy construction materials, but it's a problem to solve. And the Design Squad Global Clubs, I think, are especially good for students, especially these 7th graders who are taking ancient world history like they, once you build the pyramid, it's kind of all over for them. But in Design Squad Global, your classroom is paired up with the classroom of students in another part of the world, and you're solving the same problem. So you need the technology of a Skype or some sort of technology where, first of all, you have to be able to email the other class, but ideally you want to be able to talk to them and see them. And the research on this talks about what a valuable tool it is to help students understand that kids in the other parts of the world have the same likes and needs and problems and things that make them happy as we do here in West Virginia. So it might be something that you can mention to your cooperating teacher or when you're out there teaching. Keep this in mind that you may want to start on one of these, but the teacher in Wood County that's just getting started on it is really excited, and his kids are so excited that they're going to meet students from another part of the world. And trying to think of the makeup of his school. His school is not a school where the kids do world trips. So they're real excited about meeting other kids there. So Design Squad Global is a resource that we provide, and one of the things we're doing is we're giving them some startup money. Because even though they just pretty much use, you know, everyday junk, middle school teachers don't have the same everyday junk as elementary teachers. So we want an incentive to get him started doing this. So think about this, and if you're with a teacher, a middle school teacher, it can be any subject, but that you think would really like this, share the information and then get in touch with us and we'll see what we can do. But we would love to have that, and maybe summer camps. Arts and Bots are here today.
Yeah, Dr. Watson's going to talk a little bit more about that too.
Arts and Bots might want to do this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because my granddaughter did arts and bots for a couple years and she loved it. But now she's an expert. She's 11. All right, ready?
What are we doing?
I'll bet you. Okay. You can see I'm so good with technology. I get to talk to you about coding. PBS has something called Scratch Junior, and it's a very easy program for you to use to help students learn about coding. How many of you think that you might teach coding to your students?
Almost had one back.
Almost had one. An elbow went out.
What not this?
Okay.
We're discussing about what it is. We're not.
That's why she's talking about it.
Exactly.
Back in my day, it was called computer programming. Does that sound familiar?
Yes.
All right. And Scratch Junior and these other little programs or things for students teach them to write a computer program, but instead of typing in all those long lines of instructions, it's kind of got like boxes where you choose this box where to do that. Now you're asking like you know what I'm talking about. Is that correct? You know?
We do now.
You do now.
When you say
Okay.
computer programming, that makes sense.
Okay, so you can have a Scratch Junior camp. It's another one of those things that you can integrate it into a part of the school day where you need something to fill in time. And there are grants out there, I know, for elementary teachers especially, to get some resources to do computer programming. And this is an example that amazed me. I was in a workshop and an elementary media specialist, formerly called a librarian, was showing what she did with coding. She got a grant from the West Virginia Humanities Council to teach her students coding. And I couldn't figure that out because the Humanities Council is like all about humanities. And what she had done, the proposal she had was she was going to put big sheets of paper on the floor and buy these little robots, little round things. They make me think of BB-8 from Star Wars. All right, without the head, but these little round robots, she wanted to buy those. And she put like puddles of paint on the corners of the big sheets of paper. And she bought these little round rolling robots, and the students wrote code so that the robots would run through the paint and create a work of art. That was her tie to the humanities. She got $1,200 to do that. So, as you said, go outside the box. Don't be afraid to be different. But coding is one of the things that's really in style now. And if you go to Scratch Junior or these others and look at this, and you can be familiar with this, it may make you more hireable to know how to do this coding. So we can help you with that. We are thinking about having a coding camp next summer. Oh, yeah, we are. I heard the other day we were, so I think I'm going to have to study this now. Questions about it? That's good, because that's about all I know. I had a principal one time told me 95% of teaching is bluffing. He did an excellent job bluffing. Oh. Let's see if anything comes up. Okay.
Well, go ahead.
Okay. I just love the blank spaces over on the side. No panic. Okay, I guess I'll just go to this sheet.
Well, I have the PowerPoint printed, so
Okay.
I'll go get it.
Okay. You have another handout. And this is another Maybe Think, Care, Share thing. Right now you're looking at a slide on the bottom part of the handout. Last year we did a STEAM Power West Virginia. We called it a scavenger hunt. It was only for 4th and 5th graders, I think. Maybe 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. But it was online. You did it with your students. It was putting the arts into STEM. And for the S, there was a video or a clip to watch. Then they did relating to science, and then one relating to art, and the students created something. We did that for S, T, E, and M. Teachers took pictures of it, posted it onto our website in the proper manner, and then we had a drawing for a $500 prize. Please let your teachers know, and we've expanded it to middle school this year. Please let your cooperating teachers know to watch for this in March and April. It'll be on our main website. Writers Contest is for kindergarten through 5th grade now. And if you are teaching those areas, or if you know someone who is teaching there, or if you have no children who go to school, kindergarten through 5th grade, let them know that the Writers Contest is online now. Instructions are on our website and on Learning Media, and they just could enter this, and then their work, the winning entries are published on our website, so they can be published, elementary children. And then the top one is the PBS Digital Innovators Program. Please share this with your cooperating teachers. Share it with them if you think they have a chance. Or you can share it with everybody, we don't want to be that way. But if you see that they're really good with technology and education, say, hey, you really should apply for this. Because they can be recognized by PBS as a digital innovator and maybe win a nice trip to San Antonio for a conference, San Antonio, Texas. So please share this information with your cooperating teacher and try to remember until next December that you will be eligible. Because they do this every year and it goes online in December on PBS, on our website. So 3 things for you to share and think about here.
This was the next slide.
Oh, okay, I just talked about that, but you can talk about it more.
Well,
We'll see if that's the next slide. Well,
oh, you're back? Yeah, we're back. We got
okay,
it.
but it's not over on the left-hand side.
Oh, she told you about the writing contest, so we can go to the next slide.
Oh, well,
It just
did you
opened
have-
up now. It just, January 4th, it started, and we run it through March. There is a list of rules and regulations, and something we have found is they don't follow them, so their stories get thrown out before we even get started with them, but we get them. We used to get many hundreds, and then we quit doing the contest for a while. I don't know why, and then we started doing it again. So we're building back up again, but the stories from the children are just, they're so fun, their imaginations are so amazing. But we now have it from grades K through 5. So there you can, everything that is all online. You can find out more information than we can talk about. And just us up here, you know. But my next slide is, oh, you have it, yeah.
Who's the Pennsylvania person? We partner with
WQED.
WQED
That's
on the
right.
writers contest, so that kind of.
And EQT
But we're
sponsors
better.
it. PBS did the funding for the writers contest. Yes, we are. PBS did the funding for it up until about 5 years ago, and then they no longer fund it. So WQED got a big grant from EQT, and now they put I think we have 5 stations on it now, and we're friends with other public TV stations. So.
It's our team.
It's okay, it's our team. And the biggest thing about a Ready to Learn coordinator, you steal from other coordinators. And it's okay. Yeah.
You are expected to steal as teachers,
Yes.
not get arrested, but to steal. And also on learning media, there's graphic organizers and outlines to help you get your students involved in the writers contest. Like Debbie said, make sure you follow the directions though. They're strange. You have to number the pages.
On the back.
On the back. So read all those silly little details on that. It's really good. Oh, yeah, that was, okay.
No, I have read super long.
Well, let's go in. Okay, you want me to go to Superwatch?
No, it's okay. We can do
Okay.
Odd Squad. Odd Squad is a new program. It's in its 2nd or 3rd season, I believe. Sometimes when the new shows come out, you don't know if they're going to take or not. Like Sesame Street's been 45 years and still going strong. And then when Superwide came out, they developed, we're doing Odd Squad. Odd Squad is like a spin-off of Superwide camps, not programs. But they, with Odd Squad, they have they're techie detectives. And they get the weirdest, unique cases, which again, each one of their programs are 11 minutes. There are 2 cases on each show. But then there's a camp, and the kids become the detectives, and they use math to solve the problems. Where my next slide is Superwide, I believe. But Odd Squad is math. It's using math to solve the. Yes.
Okay, we ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, well, no.
Last year was our first camp we ran.
Oh.
And,
Right, so I think you have some graphic tearing. Try maximizing the window.
Whoa. Okay.
last year was our first Odd Squad camp. And
I'm just.
McDowell County are the most
That's where I want to be.
wonderful
There we go.
people.
Okay.
to
That's where I
work
want to
with.
be.
Okay, perfect.
They play totally by the rules.
Don't know how I
They
got
do
there.
everything by the book. So we did our premier camp at McDowell County, and I attended every day, and it was amazing. The kids had their little badges, they had their case closed books. It's endless possibilities. It's just trying to talk in a nutshell here. But then the super wide reading camps, where there are super wide characters, there are 4. Alpha Pig has alphabet power. Princess Presto has spelling power. Wonder Red has word power, and Super Wide has the power to read. So each day the camp is a different character, and they have activities to go along with each day. And the curriculum, again, it's amazing. One of my favorite little stories, this little girl. Again, we piloted Super Wide camps in McDowell. They now run 4 a year, and they've been doing them since day one. So I think that we're in 8 or 9 years with it now. But the one little girl, she never spoke a word all week. and they did a game called Princess Presto Basketball, where there was a trash can in the middle and all the letters were laying around it. And when the teacher said a letter, you get the letter, you crumble up and make a basket. And she just darted out of there on the last day, and it